He's the commissioner, former commissioner of baseball. Man, it's weird to say that. He's Bud Selig, and a University of Wisconsin grad. Sorry about last night, Commissioner.
Well, I've been listening to you, Dan. You have no idea how sorry I am, and we're not here to debate it, but someday we'll discuss some of the matters you've discussed this morning. But I'm proud of my Badgers, and they.
Well, we can dive in.
It was a remarkable run.
Are you upset with the officials?
No, I never. It's the same thing in baseball. You can't do that. Yeah, I do think there were some very curious calls, but look, I'm very partial, and I admit that. But I'm also a great fan of Bo Ryan. I'm a great fan of the university where I'm teaching now, by the way.
Oh, nice.
And one can debate, certain things that go on in college basketball that. And I understand what Bo said last night, but look, it's we lost, and that's just the way it is. And Mike Krzyzewski is a magnificent coach, and Duke's had a fabulous history, so we have to give the other guy credit.
But do you understand? Well, like Torrey Hunter was upset with Joe West yesterday with a bad call.
I heard, although I had two opening days yesterday, Dan. I threw the first ball out in Milwaukee, and then came to Arizona for a big pregame ceremony. So I didn't see as much baseball as I wanted yesterday, but I heard he was. Yeah.
But as the commissioner, did you allow a little bit for frustration, as you were talking about as a fan with what happened with Wisconsin last night? A player's comments, can you allow a little bit of freedom of frustration in what they're saying about umpires without fining them?
Well, I think we do, but by the same token, you have to be very protective, and I know this is true in all sports, of your officials and umpires in our case, officials in the NFL, and they have the same problem there. And so I guess you have to judge this on a case-by-case basis. But you do have to, Dan, be very protective of your umpires.
Yeah, Torrey Hunter, I think he realized, hey, I'm going to get fined, so what? I have to say this, and almost a mercenary.
Well, I think that in Torrey's case, that's probably right.
When did you ever feel bad fining for somebody where you said, I hate to do this, but I got to do this, or you suspend some?
Yes.
Who?
Yes. Well, I know there were a couple cases where I really had mixed feelings and a great deal of sympathy for that. But by the same token, Dan, the problem is if you let it go, then you really weaken the whole structure. You can't do that.
Yep. But you don't have one that stands out where you said, look, I hate doing this to you. It's almost like you discipline your kid, but you say, I hate doing it.
No, I can't tell you that. No, I don't. I didn't.
Is it weird not being in charge?
No, it's been a interesting 10 weeks, 11 weeks, whatever it is now. I've still been, I've been very, very busy. I am teaching, as I think at Marquette and at Wisconsin, and probably in a third place. And I'm going to start writing a book. And as Commissioner Emeritus, I still have things that I do. So I've really been busy. But, Dan, I thought about this a long time, a year and a half ago, when I made the decision. And I was turning 80, turned 80, headed, I hope, to 81 in July. And I just, there's a time in life to come, but there's also a time in life to go. And I think a lot of people have a much harder time with the latter, about when is the right time to go. And I believed after 22, 23 years that things were really good, and I had really done everything I had set out to do. And so I just decided that was it. So, and I'm delighted. Rob Manfred will be very, very good. He's, after all, worked for me for 20-some years and really was involved in everything. And I have a great deal of faith in him, and I think he's off to a very good start.
He didn't even take your office.
No, he didn't. He stayed in the office that he was in.
Well, did you tell him he couldn't have your office?
No.
Oh.
No, he was in an office that he liked a lot. So Tony Petiti, who took over from running the network, as you well know, took my old office.
Oh, okay. Did you clear out everything?
No, actually, Rob's office is much bigger. Oh, why would he do that?
What's your favorite piece of memorabilia as commissioner?
Oh gosh, that's a really good question. A lot of World Series rings, World Series balls. I don't know that I have a favorite one, but I love history, as you well know, and so there's a bag from the 2000 World Series that Derek Jeter signed, and that's up in my office. There's a bunch of things and every one of them just evokes a lot of really great memories.
Does it bother you that Alex Rodriguez is back?
No. Look, I did what I had to do.
If you could have suspended him forever, would you?
No, I think I finally did what I thought was right. One thing about, commissioners, there's a lot of things they'd like to do, but you understand. No, I think in the end, I believed very, very sincerely what I did. I've had very strong feelings on that. But he's back now. The legal system and structure says that he deserves to be back, and so no, it really doesn't bother me.
Did he lie to your face?
I didn't have any direct communication.
Did he lie to you over the phone?
No, I didn't. No, I really had no direct communication with him by phone or face.
Did you want to?
Not particularly. Once I saw all the evidence and looked at everything, it was Rob Manfred and Dan Hallam, who does a terrific job for us, and they really did the work and kept informing me on an hourly basis as exactly what was going on, and that's when I made my decision.
He's the former commissioner, Bud Selig, joining us on the show. Pete Rose is still a topic, Commissioner. He's always going to be a topic. What if Rob Manfred says, I'd like to at least reinstate him to put him on the ballot, but he never holds a job in baseball? We just lost it.
Hell of a nice question, too.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Is it the question that caused the phone to drop? Like, does he have a phone if there's a kind of a touchy question, it just drops?
It's the Pete Rose. Yeah, the Pete Rose disconnection. Yes. Fritzy was having a great show up until that point.
Coach K?
Yeah. Reggie Miller called in. It's almost, you don't want to bring it up. It's like a no-hitter. Fritzy was in the 8th inning of a no-hitter. You're Sonny Gray of the Oakland A's last night there. So, well, we'll bring the commissioner back.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I hope that he still wants to talk about this. Yeah, the Pete Rose situation, I don't know if it's more fluid now that people are talking about it. A new commissioner in there and Pete wanting to talk to him. Because I think that Bud Selig said, look, to my grave, I'll take this because I took over, with Bart Giamatti made this ruling, and as the commissioner, I'm going to continue this. But it just feels like that's still not going away. And people champion that cause. I would like for the writers to just decide. But also the Hall of Fame can make that decision if it so chooses to put him on the Hall of Fame. I mean, I don't want Pete reinstated in baseball, but I'd love for him to be on the ballot so you can decide. Yes.
And that is a Hall of Fame speech that you would tune in for.
Oh, my gosh. Who would present Pete? Like, you have to have somebody. Think about that one. Did you get the commissioner back there?
He's back.
Oh, all right. I thought it was the question there, Commissioner.
Yeah, well, no, I was just going to tell you, Dan, that it was not the question. All of a sudden, you were gone.
Yes. Okay, so
my wife's listening to you in the other room, so I knew that you had lost me.
All right, the Pete Rose topic. Have you had a discussion with Rob Manfred on Pete's future?
Rob and I clearly have talked about a lot of subjects, but this is a subject. Look, he was intimately involved in everything I did for 20-some years. So, frankly, as I said, I was the sole judge. He is now the sole judge, and then therefore it makes it inappropriate to discuss it any further. He's going to have to do what he thinks is right, as I did what I thought was right.
I don't want Pete to have a job, be reinstated, but if the writers or the Hall of Fame decided they can put him on the ballot, correct?
Yeah, and the Hall of Fame, you understand too, it also has made a decision. I think back in 1991, if my memory serves me correctly. But that's all something. I understand your feelings, and I understand a lot of feelings. There's strong feelings on all sides on the Pete Rose situation. I just really don't have any comment on it because I really think it's inappropriate for me to comment.
Okay, but I can ask you as a fan of baseball. Is that fair, or is it like we can't separate the two? As the commissioner.
No, it's very fair for you to ask.
Okay,
I understand that, but it's a position that Rob is now in, and I really think any comment from me is just inappropriate.
I was disappointed in this. I don't know how leaks happen, and it's not just under Commissioner Manfred, but the Josh Hamilton. We knew more about Josh Hamilton than I thought was fair to Josh Hamilton. With this whole process.
Well, I heard you say that before, and I understand that. I don't know how the leaks occurred, and
I'm disappointed though in that, Commissioner, that if he did something and asked for help, and it just seemed like we knew too much information too soon.
I understand, but Dan, on the other hand, and you'll understand that as well as anybody. It's hard keeping things quiet today. It's just almost impossible. You have agents talking, you have people talking, and, once more than two people know, you know what happens, Dan. And that's true in everything, and not only in sports, but in life, politics, everything. The world has really changed. And even in the really sensitive situations, I can't tell you where the leaks came from. I know our people don't know, so I don't know.
Where do you want the game to be in 5 years?
Well, I tell you, I'm really. In fact, I was reading some articles on the plane coming out to Phoenix yesterday afternoon, and I'm sometimes amazed at sometimes the negativism when I think of where we are. Think of where we are today, Dan. $9+ billion in revenue. I don't know if you saw the Forbes piece last week about franchise values. Gone through the roof, which is, I once told the clubs when I first took this job, you judge me on asset values because it's sort of everything. It's a composite of everything. And, the game has grown. Our attendance is at levels that none of us could have ever believed possible. Money for local television. By the way, in 11 of our markets last year, Dan, the local club was the top television show from April till to October. Now, I know there's been some discussion about national television ratings, this and that, but the game is growing, and the game will continue to grow. I think we need to accelerate our international development. I don't think there's any doubt about it. That's where I see the growth. And if we do that, Dan, I don't think you and I would recognize what we're seeing today in 5 or 10 years, maybe, because that's the growth potential of this sport is enormous.
Well, don't be a stranger now that you don't really have to answer to anybody except for your wife. I promise no Pete Rose, Alex Rodriguez questions next time around.
Oh no, those were fair, and I liked it, and I won't be a stranger. And I admit this has been too long, and I hope we can talk more often, and I'll look forward to that.
And if you need me to come in to help out your Q rating in your classroom with your students, I'd be more than happy to do that.
Well, that would be good. In fact, I'd like to have you in one of my classes because, then I could grade, then I could grade your performance. There are a lot of people. I told an owner the other day, boy, would I like to get all of you in a class because for once in my life I could flunk you and bail out on you.
What was the nicest gift you got upon retirement from the owners? Did they all collect their money and get you something nice?
Oh, I got a lot of, the last 6 or 8 months were really, Dan, really emotional and really nice. The last night in New York was spectacular. They had a wonderful affair out here in January, and I have a lot of mementos. But the thing that meant the most to me is a lot of the letters I received from a lot of people, owners, other people, television people that I had just worked with over the years. It was a very emotional period, and one I frankly was very grateful for.
Well, I know your wife is listening right now in the other room, so I just want to say hello to her And once again, great to
And
have
good.
you
And
on.
by the way, she's still a faithful listener.
I know. Your wife would always tell you what I was saying about you.
That's exactly right. She did, still does.
I know, and that's fair. I love that. That's
Okay,
that's
great. Well, it's a pleasure to talk to you, and anytime, Dan, I'll be happy to come on.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, that's Commissioner Bud Selig.